Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pierre and this is Simple Home Brew. I did a apple cider, it was a blueberry apple cider 2 weeks ago I reckon, and it's finished fermenting and I'm about to transfer it into the keg. I thought this time I'll show you how I do it. I haven't done it in the last couple of videos, and as soon as I'm finished I'm going to taste it as well. So if you're interested, please stick around. What we have here is my cleaned keg. This is fully sanitized. I cleaned it with the keg cleaner. That's another story. I do have a video on that. I'll put a link over here for you. Basically, it's full of sanitizer, full of CO2, and ready to have my finished beer transferred into the keg of 19 litres. No, it's actually beer, it's apple cider. I have a gas cylinder, which is going to be set to about 10 psi. This is going to be set to about 10 psi, and I'm going to try and transfer the fluid from one vessel to the other without adding any more oxygen than I can. There is a little bit of oxygen still left in it. Let's purge it. I've already purged it, but I'll just purge a bit more. There is a little oxygen in there, but if you fill it up with CO2 and sit it for about half an hour to an hour, the CO2 will sink to the bottom and the oxygen will sit on top. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You will never get rid of every bit of oxygen you can, but it's the best way to do it to make have your fluid or drink survive longer in a keg. So here is my Apollo. I'll quickly give you a look at it. My Apollo has full on been cold crashing for 2 or 3 days. So let me tell you, the vessel itself started off at around about 13 psi of gas inside. It was at 20 degrees Celsius, or about 20, and then I cold crashed it to about 3 degrees Celsius. And in that cold crashing, the pressure reduced to nearly 3 psi. So we lost about 8 to 10 psi just by cold crashing. Now, if you were to cold crash this and it had 5 psi in it, you can cave your vessel in. You can actually have it suck in and crush the metal. It is that great with vacuum and suction. So don't do it. Make sure you got at least 15 psi before you start cold crashing. That way you won't have a problem. So I'm going to grab this hose here. This is a transfer hose that I've made up many times. I've done it over and over again. Right now it is full of sanitizer, or it has sanitizer in it. I'm going to put that firstly on my keg on the outpost. The outpost is the one that runs all the way to the bottom of the actual keg. So that will go on there. There is still pressure in this keg. There's a small amount of pressure in there. I've already purged this with CO2. There is a little CO2 in there. So I'm hoping that the pressure from this will push fluid from this pipe back into my keg over here. So hopefully it will start before I even get any further into it. So we want to go on the serving side. The notches are the gas side. The left side here is the serving side. So there is pressure in here. See if it will transfer. There you go. So it's transferring very quickly. It is apple cider. I was a bit worried actually. I actually accidentally put the gas on the serving line and pumped a bit of CO2 in the system before I realised it just went and basically I thought, oh no, I'm going to mix it all up and it's not going to be very clear. But oh, I forgot something. I'll stop. I forgot the flavour satchels. This is the blackberry cider flavour satchel, and this is a sweetener. I'm going to halve use this one this time. I don't want it so sweet. The berry one is definitely needed. As you ferment, you lose flavours, and this just replaces it again. Anyway, let's get back into it. I'll have to purge it, pour this in, and re-gas it again. So there's a thing online at the moment, people saying that Mangrove Jacks products aren't that good. So far, I've only had one that was absolutely crap, and that was the gluten-free one. I ended up tipping that out, as you guys have seen. But apple ciders, so far, been great. What I'm going to do is just quickly purge this. Need to let the gas out almost to the end, but if I go too far, it's going to let oxygen back in. I don't want to do that straight away. I will be putting some oxygen in, unfortunately, because I forgot to do this. So I'm going to open this lid, but I need to open this and this as well, and I need to put sanitizer on so they don't actually, so that any contaminants that might be on these will be sterilised. So I just poured sanitizer from my bottle. The satchel thing's broken. So my scissors have been sanitised, my satchels have been sanitised. I'll do one at a time. Oh, I can smell the blueberry, beautiful. Now, I'm going to try and be quick. We're trying to, like I said, reduce the amount of oxygen I put in. That's one. And half a packet of sweetener. Now this is artificial sweetener, it's not real sugar. Half a packet of that. A bit more. Perfect, that's all I need. Put the lid back on, and I'm going to re-gas this up first before I do anything else, just to try and get that oxygen back, or out, or as much as possible that we can get out. Like I said, you can't be fully deoxidized, it's just not how it works. So put gas back in, let that rest. Try and purge that oxygen out. Like I said, oxygen does float on top of CO2, even though people have said to me that that doesn't. It mixes through. It will eventually divide. It doesn't work that badly. And I'm putting oxygen, CO2 in, and just purge it one more time. And now we're back. I can start adding the fluids back in. And there we go. What I need to do now is add a spundy or spunding valve on top of this to allow air or fluid to flow out. Basically, when you're putting pressure in, you need to relieve pressure somewhere to balance it. So what I use is one of these spunding valves. Just control the output. I just sanitize it and then quickly throw it on as well. So through the sanitizer on, the rest of it, air or CO2 will quickly come out, so it will purge anyway. I will open this until it starts relieving. And now I need to start putting some pressure in my fermenter. So what I do, and then my cable got short, I actually broke it. Pop the gas on. Need to move that out of the way. I need to change the pressure of my gas, so I need to open the valve, full tank of gas basically, and here it's around about 10 psi. So I'm sticking to 10 psi, but the output flow is still slow. As you can see, there's a line here, if you can see that. That's the line there of the cold fluid filling up. It should be around about close to that line. That way you can see where your fluid line is as it rises to the top of your keg. We'll let that fill, and as soon as that's full, I'll come back to you and we'll do a tasting. All right. So both of these are slightly different. The first one I poured seemed to be more foamy. God knows why. We're going to have to give it a bit more time to settle and age, but that is a nice purpley, no, reddy, it's almost like a red grain, you know. Smells dry. I'm getting a blueberry, but I'm also getting like a what am I getting? That's that wine sort of scent to it. It's a very dry smell. Still get a blueberry, apple definitely punching through. There is a kind of a weird flavour or smell going on, but it always happens during apple cider work, but it's definitely that newly brewed wine smell it's got. It's going to be very, very dry. I'm going to taste it. It's got a slight amount of carbonation. Actually doesn't taste too bad. Appley. I've got a couple of little floaties in there. Naturally I will, because it's directly from the fermenter and it's right down to the bottom of the fermenter now. It's not bad. I can taste the apple. Can't taste much in the blueberry yet, but to sit it there and let it I don't know, age and completely settle, it definitely will be a tasty little drink on its own. Add a little bit of sweetness to it, and that would be actually very tasty apple cider. It just tastes like dry apple cider. It's not bad, not bad at all. It's got a little bit of carbonation to it, and it's natural carbonation as well. That's pretty good. I'm just noticing in the glass, you probably can't see it, but if you look, if I move it around a bit, there's little foamy bubbles, and there's a couple of floaties in there, which won't do any harm, of course. Now, for the treated one that I put, blueberry cider flavouring and a half packet of sweetener. I don't want a full packet because I found that it tastes a bit too sweet for my liking. Ends up being a little bit sickly in when you drink it too much. Prefer not to do that. So here we go. This is the same, but this is served from the keg after it's been treated with sweetener and flavouring. Let's see the difference. Straight away, blueberry. Because of the blueberry flavouring, Satchel, it's boosted the smell already. I can still smell a little bit of that dryness, but it's a lot less. It smells like apple cider, not overly blueberry dominating as yet. I found that I did the passion fruit one. The passion fruit one was very, very tasty, but it cannot taste the passion fruit itself. I could only taste the apple. But it started coming through as time progressed, so that was really interesting. I've had I could smell the blueberry on the cup, on the glass. So it is coming out, but there's a dominating smell of almost that alcohol wine smell that you get when you ferment. So it does need a little bit of time to age to be awesome, and I will be doing a tasting later on this in the future for the final taste. What a difference. The flavour is still a little bit dry. Of course, I've done half a sachet of sugar or sweetener. Made a huge difference to the flavour. It brings out all the other flavours. I can taste the blueberry, and now I'm starting to smell it. Isn't that funny? Just sweetening that up made a huge difference. It does still have a little bit of carbonation through it. I will be carbonating this. It's pretty much almost ready to drink. I'll give it 2 weeks. I'll give it 3 days at 30 psi to carbonate it, and then I'll drop it basically down to about 12 to 10 psi and leave it for 2 weeks in the fridge, and then we'll do another tasting. That, my friends, is a very tasty alcoholic beverage. Very nice. The alcohol volume, I think they said on the packet. Where's the packet? Throwing the packet away. I'll put the alcohol volume here just so you know what it is, and we'll get back to you in a couple of weeks tasting this when it's ready. It is gorgeous. It's a beautiful tasting beer, apple cider, and it's commercial. It's really nice. I can drink this very much. It's already going to my head a little, so I've got to be really careful. Because it's not overly carbonated, it's easy to drink. And sculling it like that really brings out different flavours in the back of your tongue and the tannin. It's tangy like apple cider, but it definitely needs carbonation. Nice. Thanks guys, thanks for being part of this video. If you want to see the making of this cider, here's a link here. Thank you for taking a look at that. I would like to express my absolute thank you for taking the time to watch this whole video on its own. If you gave me a thumbs up, you're awesome, and it's been great doing this. It is a great community and you guys are awesome as well. I would like to thank my patrons for supplying the funds to support this channel so I can do all this brewing at a low cost. I still am forking out money out of my own pocket, but that's fine. That's why I have Patreon. They help me out. And showing you guys what I do when I brew. I hope you like it, and I hope you agree with what I do. I have a few tasting videos coming out, all out and about. So I went for a hike into Mount Cannibal and did a tasting up that way. I also went to Currumborough, which is an old coal mining town, which still exists, and did a bit of a tasting there as well. So hopefully you'll get some entertainment out of that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to you guys for supporting this channel by giving me a thumbs up, which apparently makes a huge difference. I've noticed that I had 100 thumbs ups on one of my videos and it went nuts. So it does work. So give me that thumbs up and look after this channel for me, please. Guys, I'm going to continue to do this forever, and hopefully you get some entertainment out of it, and thank you for watching. Cheers guys, see you on the next one.